Hey, what's going on, everyone? Happy to be here. This is the 4th day of streaming in a row. Like I said, we were going to do 4 streams in a row. I just dropped a video on Game of Thrones Season 8. It's going to have the biggest battle in television history, but we're here to talk about some Game of Thrones Season 8 predictions, our favorite characters, and we're gonna hang out and have some fun today. And we have a huge announcement later. I'm super excited to talk about it. And yeah, the hype is here, everyone. Con of Thrones is really soon, but the news has to do with Con of Thrones, and I'm really excited. We're gonna drop that. We're gonna drop that after a little bit later once everyone is here, and we'll talk about the big announcement for Con of Thrones. So what's up, Papa Tab? We have Doug in the chat. We have the Prince That Wasn't Promised. What's going on? We have Sammy San. We have Tina Sarah. We have G's name taken. That's I choose violins, right? Instead of I choose violence. I love that. Michael Palmer, Polly, Esther. What's going on? Today we're gonna try to make predictions for as many characters as possible. We'll go through as many of the main characters as possible. We can go some through the smaller ones as well, but for the most part, we're gonna go through the main characters today. And it's a beautiful sunny day here. I hope everyone is having an awesome day. I'm feeling refreshed. I just cleaned myself up, and as you can see, I'm ready to hang out with you guys today. But yeah, so let's jump right into it. Let's have a good one. Let's hang out and let's discuss Game of Thrones Season 8. Hey Mia, what's going on? Nice to see you. So where do we want to start, everyone? I'll let everyone vote in chat. You guys can let me know where we want to start off, and then we can kind of go from there. You guys can pick a character, and we can go from that. Jim O'Donnell, what's going on? Herb, nice to see you. Wesley, Cytotron, Lord of Light. The Lord of Light is in the chat. Crazy. The Lord of Light. The light. The night is dark and full of terrors. Occasional snow showers here. Yeah, I mean, we still have snow outside. It was like supposed to be spring this week, but we got like 3 or 4 snowstorms in a row. It was insane. Like super windy, like 70 to 80 kilometers an hour winds. It was like just nuts outside. And you know, I've been working out outside, taking long walks and stuff, and it was like unbearable. It was just like so brisk. Yeah, I try to get a mention to everyone, Cytotron. I try to give a shout out to my beard is just not, it's just, it won't work with me today. It's so like, I want to shave it off so I can look clean, but not all of it off, but I need to get it trimmed, because at this point, like, look at this thing. It's just like, ugh, it's just like tangled. And I've been using a new shampoo to try to fix that. And it's like, oh, it's just not working with me today. My beard is all over the place, and it's just super frizzy. And you know, I'm growing my hair out because I might be cosplaying as someone at Con of Thrones. I haven't decided if I'm gonna do that yet, but I'm growing the hair out and I'm growing the beard out, and it's kind of majestic. I'm looking like a majestic beast. Hey Marika, what's going on? We just hit our first triple digits of the year. Oh, it's super hot. Are you complaining about that? I'll trade with you. Sonny McLeod, what's going on? Amanda Duncan, Nicola, what's going on? I just dropped a video, by the way, for those of you who didn't know, about Game of Thrones Season 8 filming, and how Game of Thrones literally just finished filming 55 consecutive nights of shooting, so night shooting, 11 total weeks, and that almost doubles the record of what they previously had. So if anybody is skeptical about how amazing Game of Thrones Season 8 is going to be, let them know that. And that's just one battle. That's the battle in the north with Winterfell. They still haven't even filmed the battle in King's Landing. They're filming all the way up until the end of June. So you better, we're like double the amount of Battle of the Bastards. Are you kidding me? And then they still got to shoot the battle for King's Landing. Wow. I am super hyped about that. Hey, Marika, what's going on? Aaron, what's going on? Living My Rhapsody, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Living My Rhapsody. Emma Jane. Yeah, Beard Balm. You know what? I haven't tried Beard Balm yet. I've tried coconut oil, and that's worked, but I need to get some like good Beard Balm. There's some pretty good companies out there. Gingers are beautiful. I'm not actually a real ginger, though. Strawberry blonde. I guess that's kind of a ginger. Doug, you missed the Infinity War podcast. Yeah, that was sweet. We had a super blast with that yesterday, talking about Thanos. Yeah, we got Katrin in the chat too. Okay, so everyone, where do we want to start today? We're gonna do some predictions for some characters today. Do we want to start with Samwell Tarly or Jon Snow, Daenerys Targaryen? Do we want to talk about Arya because we talked about her in the podcast on Friday? Do we want to talk about the Night King? Do we want to talk about Bran Stark? Which main character do we want to start doing predictions for first right now? Samwell? Okay. Azora half ginger? That's hilarious. Yeah, both my mom and dad have strawberry blonde hair. Daenerys hot pie Samwell. Okay. Coconut oil does work for everything, and it's tasty too. Sansa. Okay. We Danny Samwell. Okay. We're gonna have the Hound. There we go. Tim, I like where you're going with that. Strawberry blonde equals light ginger. Yeah. I mean, look at how pale I am, right? I mean, Kyle's choice. Okay. The escape group. Okay. You know what? Davos Seaworth. Let's start with Samwell. He's had the most mentions so far. So we know that Samwell Tarly is back in Winterfell, or he's at Winterfell, and we saw him have a meeting of the minds with Bran Stark. And I think that, you know, there's certain characters that are going to fulfill the roles of the gods of the seven in that particular religion. I think we're going to get 7 or 8 characters that are representations of the gods of the seven. And I think if one person is going to be the crown at the end of it, I think it might be Samwell. And, you know, obviously we have some pretty intelligent people. Like we have like super wise people like Davos. You know, he's not the best fighter or reader, but he is wise. We've got Samwell, Tyrion, and Bran, and they're probably the most intelligent people in the series as far as you know, actual knowledge of the history of Westeros and what's going on in the world, politics and war and all that kind of stuff. So Samwell Tarly is going to play an absolutely huge role. And I was actually watching a podcast yesterday with In Deep Geek and Lucifer Means Lightbringer, and you know, In Deep Geek made a great point. He said, you know, I think that Martin, what he's going to do is he's going to kind of play off Lord of the Rings. We got Frodo and Sam in Lord of the Rings, and you know, Samwise Gamgee is, you know, had always been kind of Frodo's sidekick. He had been there to be Frodo's strength through all of these hard times. And I think that we might see something a little bit similar. We could actually see someone maybe like Samwell be the secret hero of the story. I know that multiple people are going to have hero-like moments in the end of Song of Fire and a Game of Thrones, but Samwell can be one of those people that we really underestimate, and he does something absolutely crazy. And I thought that was a really interesting point that In Deep Geek made. And I always thought that, you know, Samwell was kind of a throwback to Samwise Gamgee, and you know, he's always been super close to Jon, who's kind of like a Frodo. And well, I mean, Frodo's kind of you know, split between a couple characters, between Bran and Jon and a few other characters. But I think that that makes sense for Samwell to have that kind of impact. Now, it was stated in the last interview that Joe Dempsey did. If you guys want to go check it out, you can go check out the article on Watchers on the Wall, that he was going to be playing a bigger role in Game of Thrones season 8. And I think that, you know, Samwell brought all those books back from the Citadel, and we don't know what kind of books he brought back other than, you know, lineage books. We know that he was having those conversations with the Archmaester. You know, the Archmaester was talking about, you know, you can see the books, you know, the history of the Lannisters and all that. But I think that it's going to be really interesting to see what he finds, because he's taking a more prominent role, and we know that things got to get wrapped up. And I think he's going to be one of the people that survived the series. Like, he's safe, I think, as far as, you know, the cripples, bastards, and broken things go at the end of the story. So what do all of you think in chat is going to happen with Samwell? We know he has Heartsbane too. That is Valyrian steel. We know that's going to be super important in the War for Dawn. But what do all of you think about Samwell Tarly? Like, where is he going to end up at the end of things? Is he going to be like Grand Maester? Is he going to be telling the story of Song of Ice and Fire, kind of like a Bilbo Baggins did, writing you know, there and back again? What can you guys see happening with Samwell? I want to see some of your predictions in the comment section. We expect Sam to survive so JRM could kill him. love Game of Thrones, never really got into Lord of the Rings, always thought it was too childish. Lord of the Rings actually is, there's going to be a show after, I think it's going to be after Game of Thrones is done. It's going to have $1 billion over 5 seasons. Think about that. We're talking about Game of Thrones season 8 budget to almost like $200 million. More. I mean, Game of Thrones has like $120 million budget for season 8. Think about that. And they're going to have a $200 million budget per season, or they're going to have to deal with $1 billion for the 5 seasons of The Lord of the Rings. And that's going to be crazy. Sam should move to Highgarden. What's up, David Adams? Nice to see you, my man. Sam is Azor Ahai. Very interesting. I disagree with that, but he will have an Azor Ahai-like moment, I think. Sam is going to be a huge part in the War for Dawn. I agree. Sam the Slayer. Sam becomes a wizard. I love that one. Okay. We're working here. We're working. I like where this is going. We're talking like 5 seasons of 10 episodes or something like that, similar to Game of Thrones, by the way, or more. We're just starting to listen to a Lord of the Rings audiobook. Cool. Michael Palmer, Sam's going to set up the new regime once the war is over. Maybe no more kingdoms. I think there's going to be multiple kingdoms in the end. East, west, north, south, that kind of deal. Sam and Gilly will end up having another baby, a true-born son. Wow. Yeah, I think the future, the dream of spring, I think Sam and Gilly's kids and Jon and Dany's kids are going to be like, seen as the future. We'll get like a flash forward of a couple months, 3 to 6 months after the War for Dawn, and we'll see people are starting to rebuild and stuff like that. I do think we're going to get a glimpse of that. Sam will surprise himself. He will be some hero. Okay. I mean, he's got the courage. Sam equals Grand Maester. Okay. Sam will work with Melisandre. Very interesting. Gilly is going to Con of Thrones, by the way, and we're going to have an interview with her, Hannah Murray. So really, we're trying to formulate questions that we're going to be able to ask her, and we're going to be filming that. We're going to take Tripodric and the Pod's Eye with us. Tripodric and the Pod's Eye with us, and we're going to interview Hannah, and that's going to be on the channel. I actually got the okay from Con of Thrones, by the way, to film the panels and the interviews and upload it all on the channel for you guys. So that's going to be super hype. I'm really excited for that. Sam turns Hornhill into a university. That's cool. I like that idea. Sam will find something epic in the Crypts of Winterfell. Okay. Sam will write the true history of Westeros with Bran and Tyrion. I love that idea, Clint. Gilly is the Night Queen, calling it right now. I disagree with that right now, Herb. I know you like your tinfoil, but I think that's a little bit too much tinfoil, my friend. And if you are having fun right now and you are enjoying this, we got 69 people watching. Hit that like button. That always helps the videos get seen as far as the YouTube algorithm goes when people are searching up videos. So if you're enjoying, we got 70 people watching. Like this video. Christian, Kyburn, and Sam both survive. Okay. Julia, late and only 8% battery and internet is playing up. Sorry about that. Chrissy of Old Stones. Did I miss Chrissy in chat? I missed something that Chrissy said. Hey, Chrissy, nice to see you. Sunny McLeod is the Night Queen. Okay. Marika says, I do worry about if Sam's trueborn children find out if little Sam is not actually Sam's and harbor some sort of resentment. Yeah, and there's also the idea that, little Sam is carrying the other gene within him, which is something that's very interesting. So they get rid of the White Walkers, but the threat is still there within baby Sam. That's something that we have to consider, right? Very interesting, Misty. Robert Indykeep is someone that always brings up the scouring of the Shire. I don't know how much they're going to do that with that. We don't really know what timeline is going to be in the show. I really hope it's the Silmarillion stuff. I love that stuff. So, Chrissy, is that a heart for me? I will accept. Thank you. Sam is the heir to the Iron Throne, but gives it up to Jon, like Aemon and Aegon. I don't know about that. I don't think Sam is a Targaryen, man. Kyle, is it snowing? No, it's sunny outside. It's sunny outside. It's nice. YouTube. Yeah, YouTube has been demonetizing my live streams again. Whatever. Like, I don't know what's going on with that. They said they fixed it, but all my other videos are pretty good. But I did get demonetized a couple times this week, like my Gendry video. My other live stream. It doesn't seem like any of my Marvel videos are getting demonetized. But my game, I don't know if it's because Game of Thrones is in my actual title. That's the reason it gets demonetized, but they're screwing with me again. I don't know, man. And that's why I push Patreon so much, because it's like YouTube is, it's not all about money, but if I do want to grow this, I do have to continue to make revenue so I can invest in better equipment and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and bitch about it though. Like it happens, and we'll deal with it. We'll move forward. It's snowing over there. Yeah. Yeah, it's been snowing forever here, David. It's been crazy. It'd be cool if little Sam grew up and married the daughter of Ice and Fire. Herb, I can see something like that. I don't think we'll get to see that far in the future, but I do think they'll play on that idea of Sam and Gilly's children and Dany's and Jon's children being the future of Westeros. But I do think that Sam is gonna become a wizard of sorts. He might do something really cool. We don't know if he still has the horn too. That's something that's really interesting. Like, where is that horn? He was the one to discover the dragon glass. But yeah, I think Samwell Tarly is going to play a super huge role, everyone. And we get to interview Gilly at Con of Thrones, so we'll see what kind of information. Like, I'm not going to ask her a question that's going to compromise her that she can't answer, because we only get one question when it comes to these interviews. So I'm going to ask something that I feel like, something that's relevant and interesting that she might not always get asked. So is Sam Tarly supposed to be Samwise Gamgee or Gandalf? Yeah, see, George Martin doesn't do one for ones, though. That's the thing. George isn't doing one for ones. I think he's splitting up characters and giving them multiple parts of each character, right? And that's the thing. Bipolar weather. Yeah, Sault Ste. Marie has bipolar weather too. Gilly and baby Sam probably die. I disagree with that. I think they both survive. If Sam was sent to Hogwarts, what house would he be? Gryffindor, maybe, I guess. Does that make sense? You're shouting. Stop shouting at me. Gilly and Gendry at Con of Thrones. Dead confirmed. Yeah, I don't believe that at all, David Adams. I don't believe that at all. Sam is a Hufflepuff? Okay. And by the way, I have a huge announcement for Con of Thrones earlier. If some of you caught my video earlier, don't spoil it in the chat. I announced it in my video that I dropped literally 10 minutes before this live stream. And it's awesome, guys. I can't wait to announce it to all of you. So do we want to move on from Sam, or do we have some more to talk about for Samwell Tarly here? Catherine, is your dog better? We hope it's better. Sam is Gryffindor like Neville. That's what I said, Gryffindor. I'm not sure, though. Sam could be pug-like. Yeah, Huffleclaw. We're talking Harry Potter here. Awesome. Yeah, you guys can go check out the video after. It's about Game of Thrones Season 8 biggest battle. I did make sure I dropped I dropped it right before this video. So some of you haven't been able to see it yet, probably. That's okay, though. You guys can watch it after. Sam is going to be the head maester and get Gilly pregnant. I can see that. Sam will take over House Tarly. I can totally see that. I could totally see Sam taking over. I mean, his father and brother are gone. His mother's still around. Hopefully she doesn't die in the War for Dawn. You know what I mean? So that's definitely something that we have to consider. Ravenpuff. Will the Night King army split his forces? I don't know. Take out Old Town and the Maesters. It's going to be really interesting to see how far they go with that, right? I mean, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. I can't say for certain what's going to happen with that, but I think that, in the books, Euron is definitely attacking Old Town, I think. And I think that we can expect that at least. There's going to be some changes, obviously, but I think that it's possible that they might show Old Town again. I mean, we might get to see Bravos again. Who knows, right? We really don't know. By the way, thank you everyone for hanging out with me today. Really, really appreciate it. Hanging out with me on this Sunday. We're hanging out. We're having a blast. Hanging out, talking some Game of Thrones. And you guys are all awesome. Guys and gals are all awesome. All right. Do we want to move on from Sam? We can move on from Sam and do another character now. I'll let you guys vote in the chat. Hey, Lord Jon Snow, just enjoying the love. Got to get ready for WrestleMania. Congrats, man. That sounds fun. I was into wrestling when I was super young, but I haven't watched it in years. Sam is the Warden of the South. I can see that too. Next character, we could actually, you know what? We're gonna do Gendry. G's name taken. Great point. We're gonna move on to Gendry because he's at Con of Thrones, and we're gonna talk about him. So there was a recent article, two articles this week from Watchers on the Wall, one from David and one from Luca, and we were talking a little bit about him in the last live stream, but Gendry is going to have a bigger role in Game of Thrones season 8, and we were talking about the Gods of the Seven and Sam possibly being the crown. Gendry, the Smith, right? Like he's a dead ringer for that. He's one of the only characters in the Song of Ice and Fire in the Game of Thrones that's actually described as a blacksmith. And I think that it's important to know what they did with him at the end of last season, especially like the books. We don't know what's going to happen, but for the show, especially, they kind of brushed him off as a good fighter, right? Like he's like, yeah, I want to be a fighter, and then obviously. They said they didn't need it because they were collecting the dragon glass, making weapons and stuff like that. But they're going to realize that they need something much greater than just dragon glass. And I think that since Daenerys will be in Winterfell, we know that's going to happen. And I think that we need to realize that Dragonfire might be something that they're going to use as far as making new Valyrian steel swords and stuff like that. We don't know if that's going to happen, and we don't know what books that Sam we're tying in with what we were talking about with Sam. If Sam has some books on creating special weapons and stuff like that, so we have to figure out if Gendry is going to be a big part of the end game. He says he is. He said he's been filming a lot. I know a lot of people are going to speculate that he marries Arya. I don't see that happening at all, but I do see him possibly being legitimized because there's not a lot of Baratheons left. We know that. And him being involved in some sort of smithing of some sort of weapon. And we know that Jaime and Brienne are probably going to reunite, and they're going to have the two swords that were once named Ice. They were split up and made into Widow's Wail and Oathkeeper. So these are kind of the scenarios that we got with Gendry, right? I mean, he's got his hammer, and we had that interesting interaction between Jon Snow and Gendry, obviously, and that was super interesting. That funny callback to how Ned and Robert were together. But I think that what do we think about Gendry? What do we think about this one? You don't see Gendry fighting. He needs to make weapons. I kind of agree with that. I think that's where they're going to go with this character too. Gendry made his own hammer. Bubba Husky, very interesting. Yeah, especially when at the end at the crossroads, that chapter in the books when he's talking with Brienne, the way George is describing it, great point. That's something that I noticed when I was doing my reread. I'm like, yeah, that is, just the way he's hammering and smithing. It reminded me a lot of the Azor Ahai prophecy. Great point, by the way, Bubba Husky. You know what we're going to do right now? That was one of the best points that's been made in a long time. I don't think Gendry is Azor Ahai. I think that multiple people have Azor Ahai-like moments, but I think we're going to put Bubba Husky on the wall of hype, everyone. We don't just put people who make donations on the wall of hype, but we're going to put him on the wall of hype. We're going to open up some spots. Helen and some others said that I could erase their names and we can open up some spots, so we're going to do that. We're going to put Bubba Husky right over here on the wall of hype. I should have erased some of these earlier so you guys don't have to watch me erase this. But Bubba Husky, my friend, you're going on the wall of hype, brother. There we go. I'll put Bubba H. There we go. Wall of hype for Bubba Husky. There we go, my man. Thank you for that awesome point out there. And we were at, the last time we streamed, we were at 112 patrons. We're back up to 119 now. We're back over 600. We dipped under $600. And there was two $100 donations for the Con of Thrones GoFundMe. So we're still a little bit out, but we're getting closer to our goal. So thank you so much, guys, for being generous and everything. Really awesome. Booty in the face. Twerk, twerk, twerk. No, it's cool, Bubba, man. You've been a supporter of the channel. I love your views, man. So what do we think about Gendry, everyone? What do we think is going to happen with that? What do we think is going to happen with Gendry? I mean, we definitely think that he's going to have some important part in smithing or something like that, right? I mean, he's described as a blacksmith for a reason. They've been setting that up. Like, they have to do something with that, right? Everyone, let me know in chat. An armorer / fighter. Could he be one of the gods of the seven, the smith? Like, he's the representation of that. One of the survive. I mean, cripples, bastards, and broken things. He's had a similar journey to Jon. You know what I mean? Gendry Smith's Valyrian steel and dragonglass weapons. Okay. Hammer time. Hammer time. Gendry is the smith of the story. Sonny McLeod. Okay. Tormund and Brienne have a kid, and he is the smith. That's interesting. David, nice to see you back, man. Miss S, Mr. S. Gendry will be Team Jon till the end. Okay. Legitimization. Gendry will forge Valyrian steel. Very, very interesting. Gendry could forge weapons fashioned for Dothraki and Unsullied. I can see that. Catherine, let's start a train of hype. Awesome. Catherine's already on the wall of hype, everyone. So if she wants to, make a pledge for someone to go on the wall of hype, you can decide. You can pick someone out of the chat to go on the wall of hype. Catherine, thank you so much. Gendry will become the Lord of Storm's End. And we do have 69 people in the chat. If you guys want to hit that like button, if you're enjoying this video, make sure you do that. Hype train. There's actually a train emoji. He should be able to fly dragons so hard. That's a very interesting one. I don't know if that's going to happen, but Gendry and Rhaegal will work. Gendry and Arya will be Baratheon. I want to see him hammer someone chest in by a river. Whoa, Kyle. Hey, Kevin, what's going on, my friend? Nice to see you. Thank you for that. Get Herb Coswell on? Is Herb already on there? Did I put him on last time? Herb has already been on the wall of hype. Twice, I think. So we're going to put someone else on, Catherine. You got another pledge? I do have some people up there, so you can kind of see who's up there. We'll try to get someone else that hasn't been up there. Here's everyone that's on the wall of hype right now. I know it's kind of hard to see because you can see it's backwards. We have Emilio, Catherine, Karen, Merritt, Nomad. We have Cripps. We have Jennifer. We have a bunch of people on there. Papa Tab. Hey, Papa Tab's on the wall of hype. For armor, the fight to honor the smith. Hello. And we're getting the donation train started again. On Thursday, we had 26 donations, everyone. It was insane. Papa's already on the wall of hype. So we'll keep on going until we find someone. Rhaegar just rolled in his grave. Clint. Agreed. Hey, John. Oysters, clams, and cockles. I actually had to take that down, guys. Sorry, I can't be using that anymore as the outro. I know some of you miss it. For the armor, the fight to honor the smith. Thank you so much for the donation, Papa. I really appreciate that, my friend. Maybe Gendry will save Davos? How does it feel to have somebody with a Darkstar avatar lurking here? I don't know, man. I'm not. I mean, cool. That's cool, me. Who wants to be on the wall of hype? So Gendry, we're wrapping up the Gendry predictions here. A lot of people think there's legitimization in his future. A lot of people think that there is Valyrian steel that might go in his future. That might happen. And a lot of people think that there might be an Arya thing in his future. I don't know about that. So it's going to be really interesting with Gendry. He's going to have a bigger role, right? You're already there because you're hyped. Teresa, nice to see you. Wall of hype. Tim, let's put you on the wall of hype, Tim. Tim said wall of hype. Wall of hype. We're going to put Tim on there. Nancy has been on there forever. She'd be cool with somebody else going on there. She's super cool and generous and laid back. Tim, we'll put you on the wall of hype over here, my man. We're going to put you up in yellow. And yellow. Oh, why am I erasing it with this? I'm going to get it all over my... Tim. Yeah, Tim F. There we go. Got another member of the Wall of Hype. You guys get to see that booty again? You guys are hilarious. Hilarious. We got the bed of hype in the back with the amazing blanket that Catherine made. Can you guys see it? It says, "Hear me roar, winter is coming." She made that, by the way. Super, super nice. Gendry will stab Arya for Lightbringer. I don't know. See, I don't see that happening. I think the only person that could stab someone to be Lightbringer is Jon and Daenerys. Bed of hype. Yeah, I don't know. I just call everything hype now. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. This is Hype HQ. I just got to start naming other things hype, you know? Nancy made that blanket super, super sweet. Kyle says, "I hope Arya and Gendry's marriage night, she enters the room in lingerie and Walder Frey's face." Kyle, that's nasty, dude. That's nasty. Catherine, you want to get John Townsend on? Yes, milady, we will put him on. Catherine, we're going to substitute him out for your spot because you've been on there for a while, okay? John T, you're going on the Wall of Hype, my man. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh. John T, Wall of Hype. Wall of Hype. There we go. Let's go back up here. See my White Walker eyes, everyone. My big blue eyes. We're losing viewers every time we do the Wall of Hype, but I don't care. We're going to continue to do it, man. All right, back to the conversation. So are we done with Gendry now? Have we made enough predictions for Gendry? All you need on the butt of hype is a hear me roar. Oh my god, you guys are hilarious. Yo, the hype pipe needs to be trademarked. Miss Gibb, great couple of days of live stream. Miss Gibb is already on the Wall of Hype, everyone. Well, we're gonna chill with the Wall of Hype for just a few minutes, and we will put some other people on there after. Okay, we're gonna talk about Dany. You guys want more Wall of Hype, Marika? No, we're gonna talk a little bit more about Daenerys Targaryen. How about that? Thank you for the donation, Miss Gibb. Really, really appreciate that. Like I said the other day, you guys were nuts. There was 26 donations. You guys donated like $300. Super amazing. That's all going towards my flights and hotels, by the way. My flights together are like $1,200 or something like that for 2 flights. And then because I had to move it around, and then the hotel is like, I think 12, because Canadian money is like less than the American dollar, right? So it's like, oh, the conversion rate just sucks for me. So thanks for that. Really appreciate it. Let's talk about Daenerys. The auntie, Jon Snow has ants in his pants. Let's talk about that. Jesse knows I'm suddenly extremely interested in the bed of hype. You guys are hilarious. Behave in chat, by the way, everyone. Behave in chat, okay? Keep it PG-13 rated. Dany dies childless. Wow. Okay, I don't think that. Dany is a dead woman walking. I agree with that. Trump. We're not going to talk about Trump. Drogon meeting with Jaime won't end well. You think that Drogon's going to kill Jaime Lannister? Chrissy, what are those devil horns for? Is that for the bed of hype? Are you trying to say that, you know, Dany is a conqueror, right? I think, you know, I disputed that she might not, like, Jon might not let her ride a dragon, but he might not have a choice if she's pregnant. I think that most of us agree that Daenerys is going to be pregnant. But Dany has triplets, giving the dragon 3 heads. Damn, I don't know. What was Tyrion's look when Jon and Dany are together? Cortez, I think that he was just generally concerned that it's not going to turn out well. If we look at all the people that fall in love in the story, with the exception of a few, it usually ends up pretty badly. Don't tease me, Chrissy. The hype pipe. You guys are hilarious. The ant that was promised. Wow. You think I think Dario will make a small appearance in season 8. Yep. Thank goodness she finally got to Westeros, because in Essos her story was starting to drag out. Yeah, and the books like the Myronese Knot is just terrible. Her chapters in Dance with Dragons were just like I flipped through them, man. I mean I've read it over, but I just like they're not my favorite. Is Jon a demon now? No. Tormund's gonna adopt me at the con? No. I am Tormund. Dany and Jon are twins. I disagree with that wholeheartedly, 100%. Dan and Johnny are not twins. Dany at the Tower of Joy as a Tower of Joy baby? I don't think so, no. Ned and Nashara, let's stop with that. I'm not even discussing it. Nope. That straight triggers me, that theory, man. That one we're not even going to discuss. Ashera is barely mentioned, and she's like this super popular character. Like, no, okay? She's not. She's not Daenerys' mother. She's not. People are obsessed with the twin theories. I just don't get it. Like, some people are saying that Mira and Jon are twins. Get out of here. Out. Get out. We need a new book. Seriously. We can talk about Jason Momoa's body. We cannot. No, you can if you want in the chat. Bran Stark, Ned's brother, knocked up a Sheridan. You think so? I'm not sure about that. Tim, no, that's just craziness. That's just tinfoil. Daenerys, really interesting story. If we look at Norse mythology, we look at the story of Jormungand, and that's the serpent that encircles the world. Daenerys' story is very much reminiscent of a circle. She's going to come full circle and get back to Westeros and try to deal with what's going on. You know, obviously her main focus has been the Iron Throne for so long. And I think that we saw her focus switch at the end of last season. And I don't think she's the Alpha Dragon anymore. I think that Jon is going to supplant her as the Alpha Dragon. So that's going to be really interesting to see. I think that George's original outline had Daenerys and Jon surviving. I don't know if that happens. I see it becoming more bittersweet, even though the word bittersweet does end with the word sweet. I don't see Daenerys surviving. That's just a gut feeling of mine, but I just, perhaps she does survive. I don't know. What does everyone think in chat? Like, her dying in childbirth would suck, but it would be a crazy moment because Jon, like, let's say Jon is there, he would be reliving the same moment that Ned did with Lyanna. So he would, like, you know, Ned, this idea of Ned being super, super important. It keeps on coming back to Ned, you know. But what does everybody think about that, by the way? I gotta scroll up to Jesse on fire. I've missed a couple comments. If you're in the mystery kids, hidden twins, kids who survive, try General Hospital. Jesse is really on fire today. Lemon trees do grow in Dorne. That's correct. So what does everybody think? Is Daenerys a goner? Is she going to die? Like, I think it's going to suck if it happens, but, I mean, does anybody really see Jon and Daenerys living until the end and ruling together? Arya is not Fenrir. That is Bran. Arya is more of a representation of Hela. It's got to be either her or Jon, right? Dany dies. Dany or Jon, one will go. I think that Jon's going to survive. I don't know. It's just a gut feeling. Dany dies. So most of the people agree that Dany's going to die in the chat, or one of Jon and Dany are going to have to die, right? Dany dies is bittersweet. Because wouldn't it be crazy? You know what I mean? Jon's whole thing has been like, I'm going to defend the realms of men and all of that, and He's always been willing to sacrifice himself. And then Jon is actually going to take the Iron Throne, and Dany's the one who sacrifices herself to create Lightbringer or kill the Night King. I can kind of see that switcheroo happening, you know? Bran is Loki. Bran is partially Loki. Bloodraven and like George doesn't do one for ones. They're split up. What did Kyle Dubs say for Arya could take Dany's face? No, that's Kyle. What's with all of these twisted thoughts, my dude? It's crazy, man. Please. Arya takes Dany's face and then like tries to make Jon happy by continuing on as Daenerys. That's crazy, man. Jon dying for, yeah, I mean, Jon dying would be super sad too. I mean, either scenario really sucks. But does anybody see Daenerys surviving though? Daenerys and Jon surviving. Skin changes into Drogon and Jon rides Dany again. Jon rides Dany again. The Hound will live and open an all-you-can-eat chicken farm. I love that idea. Melisandre will sacrifice herself instead of Dany. Jon and Dany will both get blue eyes. No, I don't. I disagree with that, Katrin. Connie, my back has been great, but my shoulder's been messed up. So my shoulder and my left hand. It is what it is. And I got this kink in my neck that I've had a couple days. It's like, when you wake up and you have that kink in your neck, it's like, oh, you slept wrong or something. I've had that for a couple days now. 60% Jon surviving, 40% or 60% Jon living, 40% Dany living. AVR, always be riding. I love that idea. And you know what we're going to do? Since everyone is here right now hanging out, I got an announcement of Con of Thrones, everyone. So the support for the channel has been amazing lately, and I wanted to give back to all of you who have been supporting the channel. The support on Patreon, we've got almost 120 patrons. We're almost $2,000 Canadian donated to the GoFundMe. You guys have been donating in the super chat. I have a giveaway. It's only going to be going on for 1 week, and I'm going to be giving away 2 full weekend passes to Con of Thrones. That's right, 2 full weekend passes to Con of Thrones. Now, I ask that anybody that does want to go to Con of Thrones or wants to enter this giveaway replies to this seriously, because you cannot resell the tickets. So anybody that does want these tickets will have to enter by emailing me at Azor Hype Media. I made a new email just for this giveaway. It's in the description of this video, okay? And what you have to do is you have to tell me why I should pick you and whoever you want to bring to Con of Thrones and what you are most hype about for Game of Thrones Season 8. So I'm giving away 2 full weekend passes, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That gets you access to all of the events of Con of Thrones in the weekend, and I'm giving away 2 of them in Dallas, 25th, the 26th, and the 27th for Con of Thrones. The only way you can enter is if you email me at Azor Hype Media and you tell me why you should be going to Con of Thrones and what you are most hype about in Game of Thrones Season 8. And I'm going to announce the winner exactly a week from today on my 2-year YouTube anniversary. We're going to have guests from the YouTube community. We're going to be hanging out, doing a live stream next Sunday. We're going to be drinking. We're going to be eating. We're going to be having fun. And so I'm going to be giving away 2 tickets to Con of Thrones, everyone. That's the big announcement. Giving away 2 tickets to Con of Thrones, full weekend passes. Now, like I said, only people who can go or have wanted to go have to seriously apply, because you guys can't resell the tickets, because they do have, like, you can't resell them. So I have to transfer them to you, and then you would be able to have access to the weekend. Yes, so that's the big announcement, everyone. But I know some of you can't go, and the reason I'm only doing the giveaway for a week is because people have to make accommodations to go to Dallas, or if you live in Dallas, or a hotel, all that sort of stuff. So 2 tickets to Con of Thrones. Gendry's going. Lord Commander Jair Mormont is going. That's the giveaway, man. So I will announce it in each one of my videos this week. You guys will have a chance, just in case you forget or whatever. I did announce it in my video today. And like I said, I have my Azor Hype Media, my new Gmail account for all business stuff for my channel in the description of this video. Okay? checking on Dallas flights. And like I said, the winner is going to be picked on based on, you got to tell me why I got to pick you to go to Con of Thrones and why you're hype about Game of Thrones Season 8. You need to let me know why you should be picked to go to Con of Thrones. And like I said, wanted to give back to you guys, man. Like, the support for the channel has been amazing. Like last year, we had like 4,000 or 5,000 subs. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers. I'm almost able to go YouTube full time because of how many people have signed up on Patreon. Like, we're almost at 120 patrons. We're at 119 patrons. We're getting pretty close to that $1,000 mark where I can go full time on YouTube. So, guys, seriously, thank you so much. But yeah, only going on for 1 week. Limited amount of time for this, guys. Yes, and everybody, by the way, for the 2-year anniversary live stream next week, we're going to have guests. I'm not going to tell you who's going to be on, but there's going to be a panel of us, like 4 or 5 of us. And anybody that wants to hang out next weekend, I'm gonna have some snacks made. We're going to eat like live on air. We're going to talk about how we all started YouTube, like our own YouTube journeys, talk about what we're excited for Game of Thrones Season 8, the prequels. We'll talk about the Winds of Winter and the Dream of Spring and all that. So yeah. Hey, Osborne, don't miss the con. Kyle and I will be hyping it up. Is that Oz? Is that Oz from is that you, Oz, from Watchers on the Wall? Do we have a Watchers in the Wall in the chat right now? Is that you, Oz? Shout outs to Oz if that's you, man. I think that is you. But yeah, we are doing that giveaway. The giveaway is only going on for a week. 2 tickets to Con of Thrones. You have to email me to enter the giveaway. And the 2 tickets, the full weekend passes to Con of Thrones will be given away next Sunday, guys. Hey, everybody, show some love to Oz from Watchers on the Wall. He's going to be at Con of Thrones too. So yeah. But let's get back into our predictions, everyone. Daenerys Targaryen. Let's finally talk about, is she going to die? So most of you say she's going to die, but how is she going to die? Is it going to be in childbirth? Is it going to be fighting the Night King? Is Jon going to literally have to put a sword through her to make Nisa? Is that going to be a thing? Because a lot of people think that Lightbringer isn't a literal thing, but it's a moment in time where someone has a transformational moment, which is going to be really interesting. So Daenerys Targaryen, is she gonna help Jon win the War for Dawn? Because we know that she's got Drogon. Does Jon get Drogon after Daenerys dies, and that's how he's able to take on the Night King? That could be something that's really interesting. But you know, a lot of you seem to be vibing with the childbirth thing because of what happened with Lyanna, and Jon having to experience the same moment that Ned did with Lyanna. Childbirth, some great sacrifice. Okay, you guys. We'll move on from Daenerys, and you know, who says Teresa Stewart? She says Bran. So we'll go with Bran next. We'll talk with Bran. Bran's got a super interesting storyline. Obviously, in the books, I believe he only had 1 chapter or 2 chapters or 1 chapter in A Dance with Dragons. Really, really interesting. And obviously, we saw him come back after a full season. He left from the show, and then he came back, obviously, and we got to learn about the origins of the White Walkers, how they got made, you know, a failed experiment from the Children of the Forest. And we saw a big change within Bran in Game of Thrones Season 7. And I think it's really important that we address that Bran is in this really weird spot, right? People seem to think he's not Bran. He is still part Bran. But the idea of who he is he's transcended the idea of how we understand human consciousness. So his consciousness is completely different than how we understand it. And he's uploaded, or at least become, part of all the other 3-eyed ravens. So he is the 3-eyed raven now. Now, there's a couple of theories that have been out there. You know, Bran is linked to the Night King. He's marked. This Harry Potter Voldemort type of scenario. You know, Bran is like a Horcrux to the Night King. You know, Bran has to die for the Night King to die. You know, the Night King wants to enter, or at least enter Bran's body, and you know, use his body and get out of his body and get into the Weirwood net so he can enter any timeline to become anyone. That's another crazy theory. But Bran is going to be super instrumental to either going back in time to revealing the history of the Night King to who he truly is, or going back in time to what I believe to be the origins of the original Azor Ahai. And they're going to see if Lightbringer was actually a real sword that was made, and the person who was Azor Ahai made Nisa and made Lightbringer, or if it's actually just an interpretation of a transformational moment. So what does everybody think about Bran? What kind of role is he going to have in Game of Thrones Season 8? Is he going to warg a dragon? Is he going to die in Game of Thrones season 8? Is he like going to survive the series? Is he just going to enter the weirwood net? Like, is he going to die physically and his consciousness is still around? Because now that we got Tyrion, Bran, and Samwell kind of all in the same spot, I think it's going to be really interesting, this meeting of the minds, because they're all very intelligent in different ways, right? Like Tyrion is wise politically, and he's had you know a similar life to what Bran has experienced now with the cripples, bastards, and broken things. But Tyrion is very intelligent, and if you have the three of them together, like you know how Bran and Samuel both had pieces of information that each other didn't know, and then they were able to enlighten each other and kind of go further, and that's when we got the reveal that Jon is Aegon Targaryen. He is the born heir to the Iron Throne of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. Now, we could get something else like that with Tyrion, Bran, and Samuel all in the same scenario. So what does everybody think about Bran in Game of Thrones Season 8? Is he going to do something absolutely spectacular? Is he going to, go back in time? There's a theory that he goes back to before when he was in his coma. I don't like that at all. That would be kind of crazy. I tend to think that Bran is going to physically die in his body, and he will enter the weirwood net and transcend to godlike status in the weirwoods. But I think he might have something to do with taming or controlling a dragon. He could possibly try to fight the Night King with Viserion. He gets powerful enough to where he's screwing with the Night King's ability to skin change and use his necromantic abilities to raise the dead. But I think that Bran is obviously going to have that integral role. And like I said, Jon Snow and Frodo are a great comparison, but George R. Martin doesn't necessarily do one-for-ones, right? So he split up the character of Frodo into multiple characters, and I think Bran is got that. He's got the part where, obviously the supernatural part where the ring had to be thrown into Mount Doom and it had to be destroyed. He has to be linked to the Night King being destroyed. And then the Iron Throne can be kind of seen as the ring as well, that political part of the story. So like the ring, the Lord of the Rings part, like the two things that need to be destroyed in the end are separated as well. So Jon will have to deal with that idea later, and Bran's kind of like the one that has to deal with the supernatural element of it. Did people agree with that idea maybe? That, Bran's kind of the one who's going to have to deal with the destruction of the Night King, and Jon's going to have to deal with the destruction of the Iron Throne, perhaps. Those are things that I've been thinking about anyways. And it's a super interesting subject because we've talked about Norse mythology, and we're doing a panel on Norse mythology at Con of Thrones, and we're going to focus it mostly on Jaime Lannister and Bran Stark. How Bran and other characters have indirectly caused the Long Night. Let's read some comments. I'm going to have to scroll up here. He's going to find some weirwood roots, and he's going to become like the Three-Eyed Raven, enter a weirwood tree. Okay. The Central Monarchy needs to go. I agree with that. Bran becomes a wizard. That's interesting. Scotty says Bran will get a weirwood wheelchair and become the four-wheeled crow. I love that. Scotty, that's hilarious. When the Night King dies, Bran dies too, since they are linked. Yeah, so the mark, kind of like the Harry Potter Voldemort scenario. If you guys have read the Harry Potter series, or you have watched the Harry Potter movies, in the end, I'm going to spoil it for some of you who may not have seen it, but I think that it's really interesting to see that, possibly Bran having to die. And we knew that part of Voldemort, when he killed Harry's parents, entered Harry Potter. He had that mark, the little lightning bolt. So maybe that's kind of a similar scenario with Bran. Bran becomes the true Lord of Winter, so Bran becomes the Night King, and he brings the army of the dead back into the winter. So kind of like a repeating of what happened before, and then the wall has to get rebuilt. I don't like that idea, because I think things have to be destroyed in order to truly for the dream of spring to happen, right? Because when we look at the story of Ragnarok, it's not actually the end of the world. It's a rebirth. And we see this idea of rebirth with characters, and I think it's got to happen with the world as well. Politically, it has to change. The democracy, the monarchy has to go, the central monarchy. And then obviously they have to figure out a way to move on, right? I think that Bran is going to be a big part of that. So you think Bran can only warg living beings? That's interesting. I think he's going to become powerful. I think there's going to be a moment in time where he's going to warg the Night King for like 5 seconds, and then Jon's going to kill the Night King. But the thing is, Bran will be in the Night King, so both of their consciousnesses will be the same in that moment, and Jon will have to kill him, and then Bran's body will be lifeless. But I think what will be cool, I think the final shot of the series for me, and this is some tinfoil, everyone, is I actually think that we're going to see Winterfell. A few months later, they're rebuilding, and I think it's going to be Bran the Crow, and he's gonna go Krah! And in a raven, sorry, and we're gonna have the idea that that's Bran, and it's gonna be that kind of ambiguous ending because George likes to leave stuff ambiguous, right? And I think that could kind of be something that happens. The Night King is dead, Bran is dead, the Weirwoods are dead, and the dragons are dead, so all magic is dead. That's an interesting scenario. I could maybe see that happening, Teresa. The Death of Magic is another parallel to the Dragon and George by Gordon Dixon, the basis of 80s animated film. Very interesting, Bubba. I'm going to have to go take a look at that one. Can you email some of me this stuff, Bubba? You always have great ideas, man. I'd love to check some of the stuff out that you were, some of your ideas were influenced by. That's okay. I think that Bran might be able to have some of the same abilities as the Night King because he's becoming more like him because they are connected. Bran's going to sacrifice himself. We got Peter Griffin in the chat. What's going on? If the Night King dies, will only bring imbalance to the world, more Star Wars. Well, not if the dragons and the Night King die. If magic is nullified, then that can be something that definitely happens. We're going to go for about another half an hour, everyone. After that, In Deep Geek is going live, and you guys can go hang out with him as well. So you guys can kind of continue on with the streams and whatnot. But we're gonna go on with our prediction. We'll try to get some more predictions here. So Bran, in final, we're gonna find out that he's done more. You know, like Travis said, maybe he caused the Mad King to go mad. Maybe we'll find this sort of closed loop or open loop where Bran's affecting time, or he gets stuck in the Weirwood net. That could be something that's interesting. But in a consensus, I think that Jon and Bran are going to have to work out something, whether it's good or bad. And I think that Jon's going to have to do something he doesn't like in the end. Ty Cat, nice to see you. When Danny says she will break the wheel, do you think the wheel is politics? Yeah, I do think so. I think also there's a larger wheel that's been going on. This idea of religion and if you think about it, how humans are right now, the idea of us becoming out of touch with nature, because we were, before we started agriculturally changing our planet, we were more in touch with, there was more tribes and there was more farming and there was different types of trading and all of that. So I think that George is trying to show that element of it too, because that's the bigger arching story. The bigger repeat circle that we're seeing. Obviously, we see the wheel keep on spinning and spinning and spinning and going over again. Time keeps on repeating itself with the Iron Throne and this idea of the central monarchy that's not working. But I think, obviously, we got to look at the bigger, longer, the story that's coming around, the bigger wheel as well. All right, let's go into our next character. What's going on, Sir Hans? Nice to see you, man. Let's talk about, so who do we want to talk about next? We've talked about Samwell, we've talked about Gendry, we've talked about Daenerys, and we've talked about Bran. So those are some of the characters that we talked about so far. We need to talk about some more main characters. Kevin DeFranco, have I ever read R.A. Salvatore? Yes, the Dritz Dorton series. I've read some of those books. Quaith. Okay, Jim, that's an interesting one. She's not a main character, though. Melisandre. The Lannisters. Okay. The Night King. The Night King. Okay. He's kind of a main character. Jamie. Forrest. Okay. Sandor. There's been a few mentions of Davos, actually. You know what? Let's go with Davos. And I'm actually releasing a Davos video tomorrow. We're going to talk about the Onion Knight and kind of where he's going. We're going to talk about Davos right now. He's one of my top 3 favorite characters. Him, Jon, and Sandor. And then Arya is close behind. I think, for me, I'm going to make the prediction for Davos right away. I think he's going to survive the whole series, everyone. And I think it's going to be alluded to that he's gonna have the old man's death like Aemon Targaryen did at the Wall. Now, what happens until then is up for debate, right? So I think that Davos is one of those characters. He's so wise, and he's had this interesting trajectory, right? Like he is one of the cripples, bastards, and broken things when we start to think about it more deeply. And I think that Davos, he isn't a good fighter, but he's so important and integral to the growth of some of our main characters. Obviously, that didn't work out with Stannis Baratheon, right? Like Stannis became manipulated and obsessed with the idea of the Iron Throne, and he broke, and that was always predicted that he would do that. We don't know if that's going to happen in the books, but I suspect a similar thing is going to happen. And Davos being with Jon, that's just a great team. Obviously, he was there right when Jon was resurrected. Like he was the last one to leave that room. He had that hope and belief and faith that Jon, and someone that he didn't like, Melisandre. He was there, and in opposition to really what she stood for. He was still there through all of that, and I think that he's one of the moral compasses of the show. Like Tam is saying, we got someone who's incredibly honest, like Sandor, and Davos is kind of that moral compass that we see. He's always dropping wise ass bombs on everyone. He's like, you know what I mean? He's telling it like it is, and I think that that's going to be really important in the end of the series. Now, he's a smuggler. Whether we see Salladhor Saan in season 8, that's something I think Salladhor Saan's actually going to be in season 8. I think Davos is going to have something to do with some sort of navy. I think that he's going to take on a bigger role. I know he's always been part of the Hand of the King deal, but I think that we could kind of see him take another role with some of the younger characters, like Jon's family and stuff like that. Getting Arya and Sansa to safety and stuff like that. If Winterfell is attacked by the Night King, I could see him taking on that kind of role. One thing I would also love to see, and this is kind of tinfoily, is him help Theon out with Yara. Like maybe he helps them get into King's Landing. We could kind of see a scenario where Cersei, the Mad Queen, is shutting off the gates to King's Landing, and Jon and them need access to get into King's Landing to say, hey, you need to evacuate King's Landing, because if the Night King comes with Viserion, and he would exponentially grow the army of the dead, and then it would pretty much be impossible to stop the Night King. I'm not saying impossible, but close to near impossible to stop the Night King if he grew his army to that size, right? So I think that this kind of scenario could happen. Davos has always been a smuggler. I think that maybe we could see Salladhor Saan, some tinfoil. We haven't seen him in a while, but I think they're going to bring some of these favorite characters back. And I think, Davos could have an integral part in Theon, what Theon does in the end of the story. And I think Theon's going to have a bigger role, whether, the Battle of Blackwater happens again. I could see a scenario where all three, the Night King and Daenerys and Jon are kind of doing their thing. The Valancourt Clegane Bull Cersei thing is going to happen with Jaime and Arya and Brienne, and then I can kind of see like Davos and Theon and the Ironborn and Euron kind of doing their own thing over here. I don't know. Maybe that's all over the place for you guys, but I think that regardless, I see Davos being, whether Jon or Daenerys survives, whether both of them die, whether both of them, one of them survives, I see him kind of as that grandfather figure. He's been through so much, and I see him being part of that family, whether it's at Winterfell or wherever they take their roots to, start rebuilding the kingdom after the long night in the War for Dawn. What does everybody think in the chat for Davos? Is he going to have that kind of role? Is he going to make it to the end of the series? Because he could be one of those characters that could easily die in the Battle of Winterfell or something. Like, he's not a great fighter. He's an older guy, but I think he's important when it comes to, like, at the end of the story, having this idea of a council. Maybe they're going to do something like King Arthur, where they have it's the round table. They talk about the idea of the seven, and that's kind of an allusion to some of the Arthurian legend that George was inspired by for the Song of Ice and Fire. So he could be like one of those people that, like, the seven council, one of those people that are having a great input to rebuilding what's going on in Westeros. I'll cry if Davos dies. I'll cry if some of the other characters dies, but if Davos dies, I will cry, because he's like, I'm from Flea Bottom too. You know what I mean? I come from humble beginnings, and I can relate to Davos, and I think personally it's really important to be honest like him, and I think I'm a little wise. I've been through a lot. He can do some shipments of some weapons and stuff like that. Maybe if they discover something interesting somewhere else, that would be interesting. He survived the Battle of the Blackwater. He's invincible. I don't think he's invincible. No, I could see him living to old age though, something like that. Get me a bowl of brown someday. That's actually one of my Patreon tiers. My number one tier, the $1 tier, is called the bowl of brown. What are the other ones? The $10 tier is the Tormund chicken bane sandwich. The $20 tier is hot pies direwolf bread. Of course, the big one is the bucket of Sandor Clegane's chin. The big one. Davos opens up an onion restaurant and serves fermented crab. So survives. A lot of you think he survives. Very interesting. Grow old on Bear Island. Ooh, so you think he's going to be with Lyanna Mormont in that part of the story. That's really interesting. I love that idea. Bull of Brown, actually, stew. Bull of Brown is just a stew. Pardon me. Maybe it's not Sam writing the story, it's Davos, the man who was taught to read by Stannis' daughter. Whoa, Peter Griffin. I love that idea. That is awesome. Everybody, you know what? We're going to put Peter Griffin on the wall of hype right now. Peter Griffin on the wall of hype, man. We don't got many spots, but Karen's been up there. She'll be cool coming down. We'll put Peter Griffin up here. That was a dope prediction, Peter. Or whatever your real name is. I don't know. Peter Griffin. Wall of hype, my friend. Love that prediction, man. That is right out there, my friend. Ugh. Sorry about that, guys. I know it kind of gets jumpy when I do that. Peter Griffin is now on the wall of hype. Yeah, that's super dope. Like him writing the Song of Ice and Fire at the end, or some type of history. Like he's come that far to be able to write that important of a book. He kills Missandei. Missandro. I don't know what you mean by that. Do we want to do Sansa next? I think that's going to wrap it up for Davos, everyone. We're going to try to get to some more characters. We'll have to get to some more of these on Thursday. I don't think we're gonna be able to get to every single character, but I think some people were saying Sansa. Well, who else do we want to? We'll do 2 more characters this stream. We'll do 2 more characters for predictions, and I'll let everyone decide in the chat. I know there's some Sansa love. I know there's some Melisandre love in the chat. Davos is a survivor. Hey, Helga, nice to see you. Cersei, Sansa. Okay, so we're going to go with Sansa for the next one. There's 5 or 6 Arya votes. So, Sansa votes. Thinking about Arya. Sansa is an interesting character, right? I know a lot of people like to hate on Sansa, but if George was that influenced by the War of the Roses, then Sansa is going to have a huge role in the end. Some people think Sansa is going to get remarried. Some people have been suggesting that Sansa would get married to Gendry. But I think that, Sansa's a survivor. She's one of those characters that's going to make it till the end of the story. And I think that it's really important that we realize how far she's come. And I don't think, I know some of you still think that Sansa is going to betray Jon. It's not going to happen, okay? The fact that she's in safety at Winterfell, and the fact that she's going to have to leave that again is going to be devastating to her. And I think people are going to be surprised. When Daenerys comes to Winterfell, I think there's going to be an uproar of people really, really upset with what's going on. I talked about this in a previous video this week. Lord Glover talking about how Jon is putting a spear in his granddaughter's hand. And, we obviously got Bronze John Royce wasn't happy with what's going on. And I think that I don't know if we'll see the Vale in Game of Thrones Season 8, but it's a fortress, right? And that's somewhere where they could possibly retreat to and have some sort of like Battle of Thermopylae, like we see in 300, the Hot Gates, where they could kind of tactically pardon me, engineer some sort of a battle and be more strategic with how to fight the White Walkers. But what I think with Sansa is, let's say the scenario of Jon and Daenerys dying. If they both die, I think Tyrion and Sansa are going to be the one to rule the Seven Kingdoms. I still think it's possible that we get that proto-Stark type of idea where there's a Stark in the south, the north, the east, and the west, and Sansa's at Casterly Rock with Tyrion or something like that, and Arya's at Storm's End, and then we got that kind of scenario where the Starks are ruling, or the pillars, the four pillars of Westeros. I do think she's going to have a big role in defending Jon and people that are going to be revolting when Daenerys Targaryen comes to Winterfell. I think that that's going to be a thing, and I think that it's important to realize that how far she's come and grown. So I don't think she's going to get remarried. I think it's going to be a really, you say Beauty and the Beast, she's going to have an interesting interaction with Sandor. Obviously, we saw that reaction with Brienne and Sandor about Arya. We can have something similar with Sandor about Sansa, like how far she's come, her confidence and where she stands and where she wants to be going. You know what I mean? And I think that Sandor will be proud of her because of how much she's endured. And once he hears about what Ramsay did to her, I think he might even try to go talk to her. And, Sansa might even be amicable that he's there. Sandor is, whether you like him or hate him, he was there for those Stark girls, man. He realized and saw the same thing that he had to endure with his sister. Whether Gregor killed his sister or not, we can't confirm that, but he saw that tragedy within them. And I think that we're going to see Sandor really interact with the Stark girls in season 8. And I'm really excited for that. You guys know how much I love Sandor, but I think that, she could possibly get River Run or the twins or something like that, and she could, take over a Holdfast. But I could also see a scenario where Sansa doesn't want any of that, and she's the Lady of the North, and Jon is in King's Landing or something like that, and she's ruling the North, and Jon, Jon actually basically said, hey, I'm going south. You got to take care of the North while I'm gone. And Sansa was opposed to that because she knew how much Jon had did in that moment for her right then and there. Like, she was just shocked after, because she was defiant of Jon, right? So I think that a lot of people don't like Sansa. I love her character, and I think that I think she's going to have an amazing season 8. I think that people are going to be really, really surprised by her character in the season 8. I think we're going to see an even bigger transformation into who she becomes. And I think she's going to be a little bit like Cersei. She's going to be kind of that bitchy character. But I think that, I think she's going to be involved in some of the bigger decisions. Like, obviously she made the Army of the Vale come and Littlefinger and all that. I think she's going to be involved in another big strategic decision. She's going to do something that is huge for people to survive, I think. So what does everybody think about Sansa? Is Sansa going to be the next Stark to die? Are we going to get another Stark to die, or she's going to survive this series? Is that something that we can look forward to? I really think that Sansa and Arya are going to be like a good, like a duo in season 8, and we can see obviously Sandor in that equation as well. Sansa's story is about metamorphosis, yes, like the elements, her turning into the steel she-wolf. I love that idea. Amy, you've missed about a little over an hour. We're gonna be done in about 15 minutes or so. I haven't eaten yet. I'm starving. And I gotta go for a walk. It's beautiful and sunny outside, and it hasn't been nice, and I've been slacking. I ate burgers yesterday. I gave in yesterday, and I ate burgers, everyone, after I've lost 10 pounds. They were homemade burgers with avocado and onions and tomatoes and veggies and stuff, but I still ate burgers. I know. Starting to mourn for Sansa now? Okay. So some of you think she goes. I don't think so. I don't know. I'm convinced. It's just a gut feeling that I have that Sansa is going to survive. Sansa, Queen in the North. Okay. Sansa's story is very sad. Yeah. That's okay, Amy. I'm not exactly sure, Kevin. I haven't even been outside yet. I haven't checked, but it's sunny. It's really nice out. It's been super windy and chilly. Hey, bro, I'm feeling the fitted cap. Yeah, actually got a little collection of them going. I got a pretty good deal. I got this one for like $10, this Nike SB hat, and then I got this Adidas one, this nice like gray heathered gray one for $10 too. There was a sweet deal. And then I got this new bomber jacket. I had like all my wardrobe was decimated. I had something explode in the washer, and all my clothes got all screwed up. And it was like, ugh. So I had to get some new clothes. And plus, I'm a little bit more slim than I was, so I need to get some better fitting stuff. Thanks, though, man. Appreciate that donation, and thank you for all the previous donations. Really appreciate that. Sandor Sansa Sworn Sword. Yeah, I think there's going to be a scenario where like Winterfell is attacked, like the Night King or something like that. Or it could be the Golden Company, the Night King or the Golden Company, and Cersei's forces. And they're going to have to leave Winterfell at some point, and Sansa is going to be one of the first people that's going to be like, hey, get her to safety. It's really important that we get all the people that aren't fighters to safety, right? And then you're going to see, people like Jon and Brienne and Jaime Lannister. He made a promise to Catelyn Stark to protect the Stark girls. He's going to be kind of involved in that scenario too. Whether Sansa and Arya take to that and that they want him killed or imprisoned or anything like that, we don't know. Whether Bran reveals that Jaime was the one that pushed him under the tower and Sansa has kind of a reaction to that, that can be something that's going on too. The Emperor's new clothes. Sandor will protect Sansa. Okay. Secret exit in the crypts. That's going to be something that's interesting that I've thought about, actually. Yeah, I actually have some color in my skin. If Sansa survives, this is a great theory as well. If Sansa survives, she might end up as bitter and as mean as Cersei. She could have that arc, like the Breaking Bad arc, you know what I mean? Where she becomes someone that we don't like. I don't think so, though. Sansa's in love with Sandor, non-kiss. I don't see that happening. I know a lot of people like the Sand theory, though. I think the crypts, something's going to happen in the crypts. I agree, Jordy. Like whether it's Jon going to Lyanna and after he's told, what's a really interesting scenario, guys, and one that I want to kind of talk about in a future video is, and I'll expand on this, is when Jon finds out that he's Aegon Targaryen in front of everyone, that's really going to hit him hard, right? Because he's going to realize, obviously, he lived his life as a bastard, and then how much Ned had to sacrifice for him. And he's going to reflect that Ned isn't his father. Like, he has so much respect and admiration for Ned. But I think when he finds out, like, he's going to go under the heart tree and, like, reflect when, you remember when Ned was reflecting about Jon Arryn's death and he was cleaning his sword and Catelyn came and spoke to him? I could see a scenario like that happen with Jon. And then, Daenerys comes and talks to him. Because the Song of Ice and Fire is all about these repeating moments of history that are happening over again, right? But with different people. Like, obviously the idea of reincarnation, these people are similar people to people that were, heroes or legends of past. I can see kind of a scenario like that happening. Or maybe even someone like Sansa, like I was saying, Sansa or Daenerys coming and talk to him, Jon, you're still loved, whatever. Like, and then Jon being like, I gotta do this, So I think that's another scenario too. Like, but if he doesn't do that, I think that's the most likely thing, is him going to reflect, cleaning Longclaw under the weirwood tree. I think it's going to happen. I think he can go in the Crypts of Winterfell, and someone like an Arya or a Sansa can come talk to him, and they're talking about like, and then that's shocking for them too, knowing how much Ned had to hide from everyone, and then because obviously Sansa wasn't very nice to him, and Sansa could apologize for her and Catelyn's behavior. Essentially, she's already kind of done that, but that can kind of happen again, maybe. So I don't know. That's a really interesting scenario that I think could happen. And yes, I do talk with my hands. Everybody likes kung fu fighting, but yeah. Sandor. Let's finish off with Sandor, everyone. And I'm gonna go make a bite to eat and go for a walk because it's beautiful out today, and I don't want to waste too much time inside. But you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Let's finish off with Sandor Clegane. And I know some of you have questions in the chat, and I will go back and look at the chat and try to mozzarella, pizza pie. Yeah, actually, my hometown is like 50% Italian. Really great Italian food here. Burgers, yeah, I know. Let's finish off with Sandor because he's my favorite character. He's going to have a huge role in the War for Dawn. We know there's not that many good fighters. You guys are making me laugh in chat. I can't even get out my ideas on Sandor. I think that, Sandor is going to have a huge role. He's one of the best fighters. I think that it's a possibility that he wields Heartsbane. He's definitely going to have an interaction with Arya for sure. Like, that has to happen. You guys are making me laugh. Sandor's going to be back at Winterfell. He's definitely part of Team Jon Snow and whatever is going on with the War for Dawn. And I think that he can be one of those characters that can wield Heartsbane. It's a bigger sword, right? So I think that for him coming full circle and knowing that the Stark girls got to safety won't just be enough, because he did help them in 2 different occasions, but it's going to have to happen again. And I think that when they're fleeing south, Sandor is going to keep a close eye on Arya or Sansa or both. And I think he's going to end up in King's Landing. And I all think we are kind of on the same page about where he's going to end up at the end of his story. Now, whether he survives the Clegane Bowl or not is the big question, right? Pardon me, everyone. I ate some ginger in a banana earlier, and the ginger's kind of being funny. But I think that that's where he's going to end up. And I think he's going to end up killing Sandor. He's not going to end up killing himself. I think he's going to end up killing Gregor, sorry, my bad, with fire. Now, it could be wildfire, like a pot of wildfire, but I think that Arya and him and Jaime and maybe Bran are a team that are going to be in King's Landing. Like I said, the Night King and Jon Snow and them will be doing their thing, and Daenerys, and then there'll be the Battle of Blackwater 2.0, and then there'll be the Valancourt dealing with Cersei thing happening. And I think that Sandor is going to realize to get to Cersei, they have to deal with the Mountain, because he's there. He's this Franken zombie guy, right? And I think that, Arya, it was really interesting last season. We got that moment when Brienne was like, people need protection from Arya. You know what I mean? And then Sandor had the proud pop moment. He's like, oh, yes, Arya's a killer. But we need everyone. And I think everyone agrees in chat that Hounded Arya Adventures 2.0, right? Like, that's my favorite thing in the books. That's my favorite thing in the show. If they don't do it, I'm gonna be pissed. Ouch. So I think that's where they're going to be going with the story. Now, the question is whether Sandor survives the story or not. He's one of the cripples, bastards, and broken things. And I think in the books, it's possible that he's just staying as the Gravedigger. I don't think so. I think he's going to pop up in the story and fight Gregor at some point. But does he end up with a happy ending? Is he one of those people that are going to get peace at the end of the story? Like, is he going to be in Winterfell, like protecting Sansa or something like that at the end of the story? So what I want to know is final predictions for this live stream, everyone. Is Sandor going to survive the series? Yes or no? And where does he end up at the end of the story? Because I could see a scenario where, I don't think he'll die in the Battle of Winterfell, but he would definitely sacrifice himself. And it would be so interesting if he used fire to deal with the Whites, and he's like, Sansa, Arya, escape. That kind of moment where he's like, girls, get out of here, and he saves them. I could see that kind of thing happening. I could also see a scenario where he finally deals with Gregor, and he's like, F Westeros, I'm going to build my own chicken farm, right? And open his own chicken restaurant or something. Or I could see him going off with someone like Tyrion, opening that vineyard. That would be dope. He survives and goes west to Westeros with Arya. Wow. Sandor and Arya sell chicken together. Oh, these are hilarious. Sandor is in Sansa's Queensguard in Winterfell. He fits in with the Starks, right? He's totally that kind of vibe of a guy. Prefer the Hound. HBO announced the final battle is epic. Yeah, for everyone that hasn't checked out the video, I literally dropped the video 10 minutes before this live stream, if you haven't checked it out, talking about one of the great articles from Watchers on the Wall from Luca. He's been doing such a great job, everyone, in keeping us in the loop in the long night as far as the season 8 filming goes. But final predictions, everyone. Do we think that Sandor survives the series? Is he going to die? He get mortally wounded in the Clegane Bowl, and Arya finally delivers the gift of death to him or something like that. That would be that would break my heart if that happened. Break my heart. Sandor lives, gets a job as a gravedigger for everybody that dies in the War for the Dawn. That could be interesting. Sandor survives. Okay. His sword will turn to fire in the final battle. Yes. I pray to LotR he survives. He will die. Doug. Okay. Sandor survives. Sandor and Gregor died. Damn. Hound and Tyrion open an Italian-style restaurant, and the best meal is chicken parmesan and a glass of nice red Imp's Delight. I love that ending. Sandor dies as an act of mercy. Cripples, bastards, and broken things survive. Yeah, I really hope Sandor survives. But who knows if that happens. Everyone, before you go, just another announcement again, just in case you didn't catch it earlier. I am giving away 2 full weekend passes to Con of Thrones if you didn't get it earlier. The only way that you can enter, and I ask people to take this seriously because you cannot resell the tickets. I can only transfer them. So only people that really want to go to Con of Thrones, in the description of this email me at Azor Media and tell me why you should be the one to win the tickets and go to the Con of Thrones, and why you're hype about Game of Thrones Season 8. So 1 full week. That giveaway is going on, everyone. That will be going on until next Sunday when I'm doing my 2-year anniversary on YouTube, everyone. I will announce the winner live on that live stream. I'll post it on Twitter and everything in the comment section so you guys know who it is. I'll post it on all social medias after we have that live stream. But for those of you who do want to go to Con of Thrones and are seriously considering going, email me why you should be going to Con of Thrones and why you're so hyped about Game of Thrones Season 8. I want to thank everyone in the chat for hanging out with me today. It's been really, really fun. I had an absolute blast hanging out with all you guys. And like I said, I really, really appreciate all the support. The reason I'm doing this giveaway is I want to be able to give back to all of you. We got 119 patrons on the channel now, which is like we were at 40 in January. The channel has grown so much. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers. I'm very close to being able to do this full time. And yeah, guys, I had an absolute blast doing these predictions with you. What we're going to do is actually on Thursday, we'll continue this live stream and we'll cover the people that we didn't talk about. So like Jon Snow, Tyrion Lannister, Cersei, Jaime Lannister. We'll talk about, Arya, and we'll talk about all the other main characters, and we'll continue this Game of Thrones Season 8 predictions, everyone. If you did like this video, feel free to subscribe and like the video. And if you do want to support the channel, help me get to Con of Thrones. Link to the GoFundMe is in the description of this video. Any amount donation helps. And on Patreon, we got bonus content every single day on Patreon, everyone. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you all in the next video, everyone. Go check out In Deep Geek. He's live right now. Hype and love. Eat every fucking chicken.